Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
Thanks, everybody. My name is Leslie Simmons, and I'm with CTE Foundation. And today we're here to talk about the paths to a. Oops, sorry, I'm having some feedback here. Today we're talking about the paths to a health career with Santa Rosa Junior College. I'm very excited to have Tony Vasquez here, the SRJC Health Program Advisor, as well as Aphrodite Obezo, who runs the HOPE program, and HOPE stands for Health, Occupation, Preparation, and Education program. So they're going to be talking to us today about programs that you can set on your path to a healthcare career or exploring the healthcare career. And we're really excited to hear more from them. So we're going to let Tony go ahead and get started, and students, feel free to put comments and questions in the YouTube video, and I will make sure those get answered by our wonderful guests. And go ahead, take it away, Tony.
Hello, Tony. I'm Tony Vasquez. I've been here a little over 20 years, but I'm really excited about the field of healthcare because it's so exciting for opportunities for so many students. It's very competitive, but I can just say that it's possible with a lot of hard work. It is a hard work, but very, 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 very rewarding. And there's so many opportunities in the health field, whether it's nursing, rad tech, medical assisting. And this program that we assist students is reaching their goals in the healthcare system, learning the navigating the SRJC classes, but as well as the expectations of what it takes to be in the healthcare field. So I work with students that are at their pace, and there may be some opportunity for students to take some preparatory courses, and we talk about that. How good are you in chemistry? When's the last time you took biology? And we get into stuff like that, but it's an encouraging field. It's an encouraging program that we have that assists students where they are at. And anything else I can assist with, like classes. I know there's a lot of the biology and chemistry can be important. And the nursing field is a lottery based, which means that it's based on a calculation of different scores. You can get in the lottery of being the nursing clinical. So that's one area, and is lottery based. Also, the rad tech is lottery, is by luck, and dental hygiene is lottery, which means that I can have all A's in my prerequisite classes and I'm not guaranteed in the program. It is luck. I submit my application and have a random drawing and it's luck. And that's the way it is in California, the state, okay, and in our community colleges. But there's chances, and it's like, wow, how am I going to ever get in? And folks to reply maybe once or two, three times, but hang in there. It can all work out, and we work with you on that. Aphrodite, anything else I need to share?
I believe you covered a lot of the things that you do with the HOPE program.
Well, Aphrodite, I'll invite you to take over, and I know you have some slides to share.
Can you see them?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, CT, for hosting the HOPE program. Hello, future healthcare workers. My name is Aphrodite Obezo. I'm a student success specialist at the Santa Rosa Junior College for the HOPE program. I would like to introduce our staff that we have here. This is everyone that works at the HOPE program. We're very fortunate to have everyone here. And something I like to point out about our staff that's super unique is that all our staff is first generation students, which is super crucial and really important to all of us. We understand the struggles that many students will be facing attending college, especially being the first in their family to be in college. So HOPE stands for Health, Occupation, Preparation, Education. The goal of the HOPE program is to increase the college retention and graduation rates of its students who are interested in pursuing healthcare related fields. How do we do this? When you get into the program, you're really lucky. You get to work one-on-one with a case. Did I get muted?
I'm not sure what happened, Aphrodite. I apologize.
I'm
We just
sorry.
continue where you said we work one-on-one.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, you get to work one-on-one with the case manager, which is super important. This person will be there for you, will cheer you on, will support you in, in many ways that we can. So another thing that we do is we have academic counselor. We have Tony Vasquez on site, access for all our Hope students. This is it's super important and really great because you get to work one-on-one with a counselor. When you attend the junior college, you kind of get whatever counselor that they have time to see you. When you get to work, when you get into the Hope program, you get to only work with Tony Vasquez, which is really important because so many counselors might have different opinions and ways to do things, and Tony just knows a lot about all the healthcare fields that we have at the college. Another way we assist our students is we help them apply for financial aid to make sure they get the full amount that they can get to so they can be successful, and we help them apply for scholarships. Some scholarships require you to have a letter of recommendation. All our staff is more than able and willing to do that for our students. We also assist with applying for specialty programs and transfer. An example of this is the nursing program. Each nursing program has different requirements and different things they expect out of their students. We also have field trips, which is really special and really cool. All our students who go on these field trips, they don't have to pay for anything. It's all paid for. They get to go to campuses throughout California. We also have workforce development workshops, which are really great. We have a resume workshop, we have a speed mentor workshop, and all these are really, all these are awesome because you get to do networking and you get to know people in the fields that you might be interested in getting into. So after you're done and you've reached your goal, we have a sash party. And so each student will receive this really awesome sash that says SRJC Hope Program. So when you graduate, everyone knows you came from here. And this sash party is really intimate. Your family's there with you. Their case manager can say some special words about you and your time at the college. And another thing that we really do here is we create a really safe space and a really safe space for our Hope community. Before the pandemic, this place was always full. There people were this site was used for eating. If you can see in the picture below, we have microwaves, we have computers, we have free printing for all our students. And so, it's a lot of, we're really busy a lot of the time, but we're a little lonely now because no one's here with us. Uh-oh. Oh, there you go. Sorry. So here's some pictures of the things I was speaking about. If you see the top corner of the Zoom photo, that's how we're doing our workshops now. They're okay. We do miss seeing everyone. If you see the one right below that one, you see other red sashes. That was from a sash party that we had. Like I said, all our students get to have, and they get to be a part of that, and their families get to experience that with them. Right besides that, there's Chico State. That's a field trip that many of our students got to go on. It was raining, but they had a lot of fun, and you get to have tours of the college campuses, which is could be really intimidating, especially being the first one in your family to graduate, and then on top of that, going to a UC or whatever college you want to go to, and it being just completely different and not the JC. Right above that, we have a student supply store. So students can request items right at the beginning of each semester to help them be successful. So if you're interested and would like to apply for the HOPE program, you go to the SRJC website and you type in HOPE, and then there we are. I circled the little place where it says apply today. You can download the application, you could send it over, and if you're not sure if you even want to be a part of the HOPE program but might have more questions, please reach out to any of us. We're here and we're willing to help and serve our students in our community, because we really believe in all you guys, and we really want to be there to be success. We want you to be successful, and we want to be a part of that success with you. So thank you, CTE, for having us here. This is great. If you have any questions or any things that you'd like to reach out, there's my email and also Tony's. We also have a Facebook website if you guys want to check in just to see what we're doing. Like I said, when we were here, there was food here all the time. We had Tony's mom come, and she was always cooking for us. Beginning of, the finals, we had breakfast. It's really great. And I know it may not sound like it, but we build a family here, and it's really special to all of us who are able to be here. I'm a part of Hope in the sense of I am a Hope student and I get to work here. It's just really great. Thank you so much.
That's great, Aphrodite. Thank you. And I was probably fiddling around with, getting us on YouTube and everything. But can you guys talk specifically, like, what career pathways do you actually? I mean, what, like, is it for nursing or for doctors or for any, dentists, or I mean, what is there a specific focus in terms of the health careers that Hope supports? Is it just a matter of getting them into the program and letting them explore, or how does that work exactly? What career paths?
Good point. Good point. That's a good question because I erroneously presented as if it's a medical or health career, but it's health. It could be if you want to be a psychologist, you want to be a sociologist, you want to be a school counselor, you want to be a drug and alcohol counselor, regarding mental health, anything regarding health. So it doesn't have to be health sciences. So thank you very much for clearing that up, and also that for those who are part of the kind of like priorities go to those in the different categories of either income, disabilities, whether it's physical or learning disabilities, first generation. So those type of three different categories that historically disadvantaged population. So those type of things that we look for as far as getting in the HOPE program. But yeah, it could be anybody in this program, anybody in the health field, nutrition, it doesn't matter, it's psychology. So that's a good point. I want to put that.
Great. And you've talked a little bit about this, but the health programs can be impacted and difficult to get into. So is there any advice that you can give to students, that are hoping to get into some of these impacted programs? What steps do they need to take to do that?
Very, very important, because nursing, it has always been, and it's probably even going to be more popular now with the pandemic. But students need to really emphasize getting an A in English, 1A. I know it sounds crazy. Well, there's anatomy I need to take, there's biology, microbiology, there's physiology, and you're saying English 1A is the most important class to get A in? Yes. The state has deemed English 1A as one of the most important class to get an A in. Now, if you get a B in it, you can still be a nurse. I haven't seen anybody get a C in English and get into the nursing program. I haven't seen that. I've seen folks with Bs. It just puts more pressure on the biology courses of anatomy, micro, and physio to get Bs in. If I get a B in English, then I gotta get Bs. If I get an A in English, I can even get C's in my biology courses of anatomy, physio, micro, and still make the score of getting in the lottery to get the nursing program. So English 1A is not recommended for the first thing you do with math and science and taking English with that. I would take English separately if you're going to be a nurse, so that you can concentrate and get an excellent grade in English, and then take your sciences later or math later with those classes.
That's great advice. And that's not an easy class. I mean,
No.
even for native English speakers, right? It's very challenging to know all those grammar rules and how to break up a sentence and everything. I remember that was challenging. Aphrodite, do you have any advice in terms of how to get into the HOPE program? Because that's also impacted, correct? Is there any tips and tricks you have for that?
So we are currently at capacity with our numbers that we can serve. So the way it works is like Tony said, that if you have you meet the low income, your first generation, disabled, those all help you. But the unfortunate thing is that we go off the wait list regardless. And so if you are interested in getting into the program, please apply. Please email me, email anybody here. So we can get you the application so you can try to get in. But we do have, the way it works is when students graduate out, we can bring more students in. Even if you're not in the program, but you did apply and you're waiting for your spot to open up, we're still able to serve. We can still help you with general questions. Tony's still here. You can still use our computers in our facility. So even if you're not part of the HOPE family yet, we're bringing you in a little, and slowly and surely we'll get into the program eventually.
That's great. And so we know that the junior college is one step in that education pathway to becoming a doctor, for example. Sonoma, Santa Rosa Junior College does not provide medical degrees at this point, unfortunately. So what do you guys do, both of you, in terms of preparing students to understand the benefits and costs of that next step when it comes to medical schools and or preparing for the medical college admission test called MCAT? What does that look like?
Well, fortunately, from a grant, the Haas Foundation, we're able to have a Counseling 53 class in the fall. And for new recruits, especially for freshmen, but also folks who are new. And that's when we have not only we talk about college, university culture and careers, but we bring in speakers. The pharmacy school comes in and speaks regarding pharmacy. We brought a student in who was a former Hope student and now is in the third year of medical school. And so we bring in professionals, HR people from Kaiser and Sutter saying, this is what we look for in resumes. And you have a mistake on your resume, we throw it away. So we enlighten them to the seriousness and how competitive it can be. So we have speakers that come in to help them realize the dream potential and the steps to become that professional of a doctor, a pharmacy doctor. And then we also, Aphrodite and Daisy do an excellent job as speed mentor. So we have a day where they can meet the nurses and the professionals, the pharmacists, the doctors, and they can speak to them personally about with the joys and of their job and the trials, tribulations, and medical school about that. So we try to give a well-rounded aspect regarding the career and the expectations, along with some nudging, some pushing, and encouragement. But I know those are some things that we have in place, you know, semesterly and annually.
Anything that you want to add, Aphrodite?
When you work with a case manager, and let's say you're exploring different, schools or different careers and things like that, we are able to, we look them up together. We help support them in that way. I know, like what Tony was saying about Speed Mentor Night, we had one of our young men who used to be in the program, Robert. He graduated. He's in the rat tech technician, and we had a student who is interested in that program. And I only know this because of Robert, because I know him personally, but I was like, hey, how much did it cost to take that test? And he's like, oh, yeah. And he was explaining it. And the student was like, wait, there's a cost? I have to take a state test? And when you get really close to the opportunity to get into the program, we definitely want to search and make sure we look up everything we can, help you with as much financial aid as you could possibly get, and, with the scholarships. But, with everything that Tony said, that really does encourage and works more well-rounded to help the students be successful.
Great. We know that there are technical skills involved in having a health career. But what are some of those softer skills? What do people who go through your programs, what traits do you think they have in them that really make them successful when it comes to that, like, curiosity, perseverance? What are those things that you really see, if you were to pinpoint what some of those soft skills were, what are they that really help you think people be successful, both in your programs, but then also, extending into their careers in health?
Um, I have seen students, I mean, most of the lawsuits, they have good manners. Thank you and welcome and pardon me, excuse me. So, and all saying manners go a long way. And I think students that do a very good job of that. And they are very mannerly, kind, respectful. And in some terms, they may be too intimidated of a nurse, of a doctor. Oh, this person's a dentist. Oh no, this person. Oh my God, what can I say to this person? I won't say anything because I have nothing to say. So that's common. But I think the students and their manners and their promptness, and then also coaching them on appropriate uh, topics to talk about. Like, of course, I say it's you have every right to ask somebody's salary, but there's a way to ask about how much you make a year. You can say, how much is a person, if I began first day on the job, how much would I start out with? instead of saying, hey, Dr. Aphrodite, how much you make? And so those type of things, coaching them, saying, there's appropriateness about how to couch your sayings about salaries, a sensitive topic, salaries and work environment, and what are some things maybe can't say you don't like, but what some things that are maybe are more involved on other days and other we can explain a typical work day. So those type of things we teach in that Counseling 53 about how to present yourself, how to ask professional questions. And the first thing I do is look at their email account. What does it say? Is it, oh, hi, I'm partyman, cuteboy.com and cuteboy@gmail. You might want to save that one for another time. You might want to think about getting another email account, which say one for the fun chat rooms and say one for your academic professional, because I don't want anybody getting the wrong impression of you, party girl, that you're a nice woman, nice young lady, but let's keep it to your name and last name or something like that. So those type of things I teach them a soft skill, because first impressions, always first impressions is really, really big.
That's a very good point. I mean, I think sometimes I know employers are going on people's social media to see how, what kind of person this is, but it can be as simple as just making sure you have a professional email address. Definitely.
Yeah.
A very good tip. And Aphrodite, do you have any tips in terms of what soft skills people can develop, or what kind of person does it take to be successful in a health career?
Bridging off what a lot what Tony said, said, empathy is really important. Working, you have to be working hard, someone who can, navigate a fast changing environment, since working in just any health field, one day it's going to be this, and then maybe 20 minutes later, it's something way crucial, way more important. So being able to balance that. Another soft skill, and it's actually an interview question that a lot of our nursing students get when they apply to Sutter and Kaiser is, are you practicing self-care? And what does that look like? And that's a very, I would think, a little bit of an unusual question, but it makes sense. When you work in these fields, and when you go to school to become a nurse, a doctor, a therapist, a social worker, you deal with so much that's heavy on you. And if you can't balance that out, and self-care can be anything to anybody, and try to find a way to make it all work for yourself, so it's not too it's not too much for where you can crash, because school is really intense, and I couldn't imagine being a nurse or going to medical school and all the pressure that they're facing, and then that's the question they ask you when you're in a job interview. It's why are you asking that? But it's super important, because if you're not taking care of yourself, how can you serve or help anybody else in the community?
That is too true, especially right now, right? We've got a lot going on in our world. Um, what about, Tony, can you talk about some of the high school courses that students should take before they move into that post-secondary health pathway? What do you suggest for that? Oh, when you're on mute, there you go.
I think it's important to have a math class your last semester of high school, or your last year. I know in the good old days, I just want to get rid of math and then not have to do math ever again. And now I go to college and haven't had math in 3 years. All right. So now I'm starting at, adding subtraction. So that is something, and I know it's painful. Math is a 4-letter word. So it's painful to take a math class when you don't have to, when your senior year is supposed to be fun and all that. But it does make a difference if you're refreshed in math coming to a place like SRJC. Our math department is excellent. We have an excellent math department. They're tough, but they're excellent. All right. We have engineers and scientists that leave here and they go to UC, wherever, and they say they have no problems like other students have from other community colleges with math and science. So I'm very proud of our math and science departments. But they do a good job. They're rigorous. They're going to give you rigor. So I encourage students to stay on top of that math, as well as stay on top of that essay writing, because that English is going to be very important as well.
That's good. Yeah, I think math is one of those things like a foreign language, right? You need to practice it a lot. I did not take that advice when I did my senior year and I skipped my math. And so then when I went to place in college, I had to redo trigonometry, right? I had to do it again because I had, forgotten that whole year. So very, very good advice.
Very true.
Yeah, it's just you can't if you don't exercise that muscle, it's easy to forget.
I tell students I'm not good at math, so if I took a break one semester, I would lose everything I learned the whole year.
Yeah.
That was
All right. So what kind of experience should students consider before and during going through a health program? What does it look like in terms of, what are the requirements above and beyond just classroom learning?
um I'll speak about this, and Aphrodite can chime in as well. I think what students and all, I would think most high school, I'm gonna say all, I don't know all, but students are not familiar with study groups. If you're going to get through all rigor, whether it's being a teacher, a scientist, art student, you're going to get through rigor by using your community, by using your classmates, by having them help you and you helping them, having a group. And we say in Hope, a family. And so we are a family. So Aphrodite joins other family members in Hope and they study together. And that's what I do in my class is expose them to that. Yes, you're going to have to use your group to study. And yes, believe it or not, people go to Denny's and study till 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, and they cannot believe anybody would go to Denny's and study until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I said, if you want it that bad, that's what people do, and they're doing it often. So exposing them to that type of using your community, using your resources, asking for help. There's pride in asking for help, especially males. Males, we have this thing about we're weak if we don't ask for help. Um, but those are things, the really key things is to use the resources around you, asking for help. And Aphrodite doesn't have to be my best friend, but she could be my good study group. All right. And that's what I tell folks that you don't have to go to the movies with this person. You don't have to go out and buy this person Christmas gifts. But this person is maybe a good person to study with because you both are doing the same goal. You guys can share off each other's intellect. And she might have something good, a part that she's really good at and that you're weak at, and vice versa. So, and other group members as well. So showing that study group and using the resource around you is very important, is what I try to impress upon the students, that in high school we can get away with just doing our thing in our room and busting out the chapters, 3, 4, 5 chapters, from on the radio or music, and just busting out, our study. But in college and nursing and all, especially anatomy, physiology, micro, you're going to need a study group to help you get through these intense courses.
It's got to get those flashcards out, right? Aphrodite, do you have anything to share in terms of, what kind of experience should students expect through the Hope program?
Um, Experience. Yeah, like Tony said, like, there's a lot of people who do come in here and use our resources for studying. Other things that they can definitely benefit from the Hope program is, like we were talking about speed mentor night. Sometimes they make really great connections with a mentor, even if it's not in their field, and they're able to go to this person, and this person helps them, navigate and maybe connects them with someone else that's in their field. And so they're able to explore that. I mean, it's really important, especially if you're trying to get into nursing, to, the community service, the shadowing, all those will help you know if you want to do that. I mean, in any field, you should probably be exploring it, because you don't want to do all that work, especially all those math classes, those really intense science classes, just to find out that you don't like it. And I mean, I don't want to do that. But yeah, no, definitely using your community. You know what? Ask for help every time you need help. I struggle, and I still struggle with asking for help from anybody, my family, my community, Hope here with all my family program. But, you know, you got to be okay with asking for help and know that those questions and those things that you're asking have already been asked by somebody else, and it's not that big of a deal. I was homeless for like ever, and I'm not homeless anymore, and it took me asking for help and pulling myself and trying to work my way out of that position that I found myself in.
That's good. I like that you share that somebody's asked the question before, you're not the first person to ask it, which is important.
Mm-hmm.
Tony, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I think it's also because we're all first generation, and some of us come from a disadvantaged culture where higher education is for those super rich, smart people. So you aren't rich, you're not super smart, so go get a job. So as immigrants, our families come here to work. We don't come here to be scholarly. You come here to work and get a good job inside to work and make good money, work for the county, the city, or wherever it is, and make a good job, get benefits, and buy a house, get married, have kids. So, but I tell students sometimes our culture doesn't understand higher education, and they don't understand what it means to go to work and be happy to go to work and be enjoy going to work, because some of our culture says you're happy when you get paid. That's when you enjoy going to work. On Fridays, when you get paid, that's when you enjoy your work. So we have two families: your family that you live at home with, that may or may not support you going to campus, and then your family at Hope or on SRJC that does support you on your goals, because we do understand how challenging and difficult it is, um, not having a road paved for you, not having no one doing this and giving you advice in your family, coming to Aphrodite or myself, somebody else, and learning how to do this. So that it's challenging because sometimes our families don't understand. My dad did not know what I did at SRJC until my 10th year working here. He would, what do you do? But what's counseling? And what do you teach? What can you teach? I don't understand. I don't get it. So it wasn't until he came on campus in my 10th year, and we had a little ceremony of Puente, and then he saw what he said, okay, now I understand what you do. And so I tell them sometimes families never will understand. They'll understand when you make money, you understand when you get paid, and when you graduate, they'll understand that. But they still might understand what you really have done and doing. They just know that, hurry up, get it done, make some money and get out there and be a woman and be a man. So those two families, I would say there's two families at the campus and at your house. And I tell students, some students come on campus and they have not heard one positive thing about them and their goals at home. And the only time they get maybe a pat on the back or a stroke on the shoulder is when they come to SRJC. So I have to be cognizant of that. I have to remember that I don't know, and sometimes I do, that everybody doesn't come to SRJC with a smile on their face.
I like that about creating your own family. It's really important. And also loving your work, that it is possible to make money and love your work. I always heard the saying that do what you love and the money will follow. And it's challenging, it's challenging to yourself and our desire to survive to take that on. But I think it's true. And I really appreciate that you support that people can love what their work is. Great. Any other additions before we close out our session? Anything else? Any other quick tips or advice for young people that are looking to pursue a career in health careers?
I think piggyback on what Aphrodite says is doing some volunteer work and going out there and getting your feet wet, and finding out if you like this or not. And she makes a good point when I heard of the pharmacist mentioned that she wanted to be a dentist. And so she was doing all this work, and then she figured out I don't want to be looking at people's mouths 7 hours a day. I don't want to do this. So, but she was already going to dental school. She says, I don't want to look at people's mouths for 7 hours. I'll do something else. And so she became a pharmacist. So that was something she enjoys more. So, but I think everybody is makes a good point, is try to get some volunteers, some experience, expose, even interviewing people, interviewing a nurse, interviewing a psychologist, a school psychologist, social work, and interviewing people so that you get an idea. And it's tough, and it's okay to change your mind. Okay, it's okay. The average amount of time students change their major is average is 5. So I did 5. so I'm average. So, but yeah, sometimes your parents might not like it. Sometimes, your significant other might not like it, but it's a process. And just because I major in anthropology doesn't mean I'm going to dig up bones for the rest of my life. I can use anthropology for a lot of things, working with the state, working with government, or working with it's going to open doors for me. So I tell students, don't worry about if I can't stand teaching history when I'm majoring in history, but you're getting A's in it and you'll like it. Those doors will open up, and you won't have to be a history teacher. It'll be other areas because you have that degree.
That's great. Well, thank you guys both. Really appreciate it. And I do want to say, too, the video, this is going on our website at CTE Foundation. And we have a lot of different videos on there that students can explore careers in health just by watching these videos. There's interviews and panels with people who work in the healthcare industry. So it's another good way to explore careers without having to necessarily pick up the phone. But that is a really good thing to do, too, interview people and find out what they love about their jobs. So thank you both. Really
Thank you so much.
appreciate it. And